Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chatting with Chip with Barton College football head coach Chip Hester. I am Wilson Times sports editor Paul Durham. And coach, man, what a game on Saturday. Yet another tough loss for you guys. 24-18 at Limestone.
Right.
Forgive me for forgetting Limestone, but what a game. And you know, one thing that struck me watching that game and talking with you afterwards, every week it's different in college football and certainly in the South Atlantic Conference. Every week you have a different opponent, you have a different set of challenges. Every week the game ends up a little bit differently. And you can look at things that went right and things that didn't go right. I thought your offense played pretty good Saturday.
Yep.
One of the better games in a while. Certainly one of the best games for quarterback Tyler Flippin. Jordan Terrell, another great day. Defense played good, but man, you're up against the toughest offense in the conference. And it was really just a matter of running out of time or just they came out one better than you. So, Coach, what's your biggest takeaways from that game?
Yeah, it was a competitive game, and it's no fun to lose, and so it's frustrating and it's disappointing and things like that. But I am proud of our guys. I think they fought like crazy. I thought our offense really stepped up when they had to. I thought Tyler Flippin did some really good things on Saturday. And in the end, you want a chance to win in the end. And we score, try for the onside, don't get it, and then they're able to run out the clock. But I think you hit on an important piece is that Limestone is a really good offensive football team, and I think they're probably the best in the conference. They just do a really good job. They've got a good scheme, good players, really good running back, and then their quarterback. I thought their quarterback really stepped up in a big way and scrambled out of some trouble sometimes, and we just, we couldn't find quite enough stops, and then we turned the ball over one time going in, and then they drive the field and score on that one. So there are a lot of different things that happened in that ball game that caused us some issues, but our guys kept fighting, and I hope that they will again this coming week.
Yeah, let's look a little bit at your offense, break that down a little bit. Obviously, when Jordan Terrell runs for over 200 yards, it's typically a good day for your offense because that means y'all are doing what you want to do. You want to give him the ball and run it and be successful. You also had a pretty good game by Tyler Flippin with passing 141 yards, which I believe is a career high for him. Nice touchdown, beautiful touchdown pass to Anton Popov. Man, dropped it down the chimney, 27-yarder in the first half. I thought your offense clicked. And what were some of the things you guys were able to do Saturday that you hadn't been able to do in some of the more recent games? I mean, obviously against Catawba you had a big game, but, during that stretch where you guys scored like 3 points in 10 quarters.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. The key for us is being able to establish run. If we can establish run, then we can get some people in some favorable passing situations, and I thought we did that. And you're right, Tyler made some really good throws, and we had some wide receivers step up and make some big plays. I mean, the throw was outstanding to Anton, but the catch was outstanding as well. I mean, he caught it right over his shoulder, like he's been trained to do, and so I was happy with those guys. We had. Trent Jones was out again, and so we had guys having to step up again up front, and they did. I thought Raekwon Batts really came in and probably had his best performance. He was dominant as a fullback blocking and just getting pancakes and big blocks, really helping us out. And I thought Jay Johnson did a great job in the run game. So blocking safeties and some things like that really are kind of, they're not in the stats, but they're really important to how successful you are on offense.
Well, when you game plan, you got to have all these little things that go right. And, guys like Raekwon Batts, he's a fullback who never carries the ball. He's a blocking back. He's basically a lineman in the backfield and did a great job for the former Bedingfield fullback / linebacker. He kind of did it all for the Bruins there.
Right.
Coach, the defense had a tough day, but I thought the defense played well. I mean, they forced 2 turnovers that y'all eventually scored touchdowns on. They were just up against it. It's hard to keep Trey Stewart under wraps. He's like Jordan Terrell. Yeah. If he gets free, he's going to get 20 yards before you know it.
Really good scheme, really good players, and that's a good combination. And they've got a quarterback that's playing at a high level, and so they're really big up front. We've got some guys that are moved down. Noah Johnson's trying to play some defensive tackle for us, and we've got Matt Smith coming up and trying to play some defensive end. So we're trying to shuffle the deck a little bit and get some production. But it's tough. We're asking those guys to do things that they're not used to doing, and so that makes it a challenge. I thought our guys did create a couple of turnovers that were really huge. And at this point, you and I have talked about it before, but our margin of error is pretty small, and so we just needed one more stop, or we needed one more touchdown, or one more special teams play, and we were a little short, and it's frustrating. I know it is, because our guys, they've got high expectations for themselves and for our program, and so it's frustrating when you don't get it done on Saturday. But it did feel like we were playing uphill all day, it would have been very easy for our guys to lay down, and they did not. They fought until the very end, and I thought we had a chance to get the onside kick. Graham Walston did a great job of executing the kick just like we wanted it. Their kid just did a great job and fielded it like a champ.
Well, we talked about this, and not to point too much to a mistake as a turning point, but obviously, when you fumble on the 1 yard line and then you give up the 99-yard drive, that's the one that will probably be replayed over in the minds of the defensive coaches and players. But I mean, it's the second time this year that those things hurt. I mean, those change games, and the fact that you guys were still in it, even after you fell behind 14-0, threw an interception on your first possession. Right. Worst start of the day, of the year, but you climbed right back in it and fought and really had a chance to win. So, there's a lot of positives to take. You don't want moral victories, but you take them anyway, because they're good things to know that you did. It's not a substitute for a real win, but man, that game could have gone a lot of different ways after the first quarter.
Absolutely, and I think every game you learn, and so in the experience you can use later on, and so I think we're learning some tough lessons. I think our league is a little bit like the NFL, and what I mean by that is there's just you don't know what play is going to make a difference in winning or losing, and we've had 3 games, or I guess 4 games, that have been a touchdown or less,
right?
And so that just makes the margin of error so small, and we've got to play better complementary football, and I think the thing that really stands out to me is we've just got to be more consistent,
right?
And I think because we do make some plays. I don't think we played particularly well on third downs. We didn't get off the field enough on third downs, and then we turned the ball over a couple times, and we need to win the turnover battle. It's not good enough just to be even. We need to win it, and that's part of our formula to win. But I think after each game and after each season, you've got to look at it with a clear eye and decide where you need to be and where do you need to get better. And I think consistency is the thing that really pops out to me. And part of that is playing young guys. With some guys banged up, we've got some guys that are younger and not as experienced, and so we're really struggling with consistency right now. We're doing some good things, but then we do some bad things, and you just got to have more and stack more good plays on top of each other.
Well, that's the one thing I want to talk to you about today, and we kind of touched on it last week. You are playing more guys now, and that is going to be a blessing starting next spring, because you are getting reps for guys that wouldn't have had them otherwise, and you really have with the class that comes in, and they're all pretty much redshirt sophomores at this point, third-year players. There's not a whole lot of room for new guys to come in if these guys are doing their jobs, and so you really hadn't had a chance to build that sort of experience depth that you are now getting a chance to sort of foist it on you. And these guys, excuse me, that little glitch there, folks. These guys are really kind of playing along and coming along pretty good, and I think you've got some names that are now in the mix moving forward, and because you don't know who's going to be back right now. I'm sure you're kind of hoping they all come back, but that's probably not going to happen. So some of these guys who are just starting to get into it, they could be big contributors next year. That's got to be a blessing for you as you look at what's left of a season that current 3-7.
Well, you're looking for some silver linings, and that is a silver lining that we've gotten some experience with some guys who probably wouldn't have gotten as much experience, and that's part of the lesson learning process is we've got to realize, our guys that you're one play away from getting in there and being a contributor. And so we've got to prepare guys as coaches, and guys have got to be ready for those opportunities when they get it. And then as coaches, we've got to continue to recruit guys that can compete. And I think competition within your team is healthy, and it makes you better. And I think going forward in this conference, it's going to be a challenge every game, every year. It's just the coaches are too good, the players are too good. There's good talent in the league, and there's parity. I think that has proved out over the course of the season. I mean, you've got the top teams have been beat by. There's not an undefeated team coming in there. So it's a tough league, and you've got to be doing everything in your program the best that you can in order to be competitive.
Yeah, you're right about it. It is a fun conference. I have more fun looking at South Atlantic scores on Saturday than I do Atlantic Coast Conference or SEC or any other conference. You never know what's going to happen. Well, that having been said, you've got your last game this Saturday against Erskine, a team that you beat down there last year. They won up here. The very first game played were your first game at Barton in the spring of 2021. Right. And, let's face it, Erskine's having a tough year, tougher than you guys. They haven't won in the conference. Obviously, for you guys at 3-7, I wouldn't think you're going to be looking past anybody.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And so you want to make sure that, Saturday ends the way you want it to, which is with a win, and you guys celebrate in the middle of the field, not Erskine like they did 2 years ago. And what do you guys, how have things been this last week of practice? Because you don't want to think, we should win that game. You definitely want to win it, because I tell you, that would make your year a lot worse if you lost to Erskine.
Yeah. I mean, I think every team wants to win the last game, and it'll be senior day. We've got some guys that are finishing their fourth year, so they're going to graduate, and so they'll have some decisions to make. But you want to have senior day go the way that you want it and have some positive thoughts. And then for your guys that are returning, you want to create some momentum going into the off season. But either way, I think as we watch film on these guys, they're not a bad football team. And I know that sounds crazy, but they've got some talent. And as we go through their roster, they're playing with some juniors as well, some guys that have been there for 4 years. So again, it's a tough league. And if you're just not quite there, you can get beat in this league, and momentum can get going against you. But I know that they'll be fired up to play us. I think they'll be thinking this is an opportunity. And so again, I think how the game starts makes a big difference. I mean, I think we need to come out. I think special teams is going to be huge. I think we need to find a way to win special teams, and then we need to create some chaos on their side of the ball. We need to put their quarterback in some uncomfortable positions in order to try to create some turnovers, and that hopefully will get our offense going as well. And we're gonna try to run the rock and set up some play action.
Well, hopefully the bad weather will be moved out by the time kickoff comes around. I think it's looking like maybe some Saturday morning remnants, but hopefully it'll be clear and chilly and windy.
It's trending that way, which would be nice. But we talked about, I think you and I, Paul, have talked about it, that it'll be Barton football weather no matter what happens. Windy, sunny, showers, whatever. We need to use it to our advantage.
There you go. Well, that's it. Well, this is the last week of the regular season, but we will be back next week for one last episode of Chatting with Chip for the 2022 fall season to talk about Erskine and the off season. So please join us then.